Up next, on our Drinks with Locals, we're headed to Industry City in Sunset Park, Brooklyn, where they have created a community of creators from breweries to distilleries, amazing food, classes, music, you name it. But I'm here to check out the Standard Wormwood Distillery, which I hear is creating unique creations in their own. It's time to meet the owners of Standard Wormwood Distillery, Taras and Sasha. I really want to start from the beginning. Okay, so I love seeking out things that I've never heard of or I didn't know existed. And so I found you guys. I was blown away because of the key ingredient that you use, I've never heard of, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm alone. Do you think I'm alone or do you think this is common?
Oh boy, like 80% of the conversations we have are explaining this portion of our distillery.
But how cool is that you can say that? Turns out I am not alone, and I am thankful. I had no idea what wormwood was. Cool thing about here at Standard Wormwood Distillery, they embrace the herb. We're gonna learn facts about it, we're gonna learn the history, and of course, taste the magic because it makes cocktails delicious, but we're gonna find out why. So what is wormwood? Just let's start with wormwood. What is that?
It is like a 5-foot bush.
Oh.
It's not like a wood that you think of like a tree, but it's bushy. Beautiful silver green leaves to it, and it is an extremely bitter plant.
We've heard of absinthe, but we haven't heard of wormwood. But funny enough, wormwood is actually in absinthe. Did you also know wormwood is in vermouth? We actually know way more than we thought about wormwood. And we're gonna break down all the myths around absinthe and wormwood in one. Same effects that we think of absinthe?
That's probably the biggest question we get.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's a lot of mythology around it. A lot of it is made up. There's a lot of history around how that mythology was developed, but not to kind of like derail into like a whole history lesson around it. But more or less, wormwood has been used in many things. So it's always an education process that we go through. It'd be like, this is what wormwood is, this is what it does, the kind of associated effects with it that have been marketed are not necessarily true. It's actually like in vermouth, right? And people don't associate that mythology with vermouth in the same way that they do with absinthe. So it's really just about educating people around what it does, how we use it in a novel way, and then how we bring it together into this whole program.
I was very impressed with their selection. Their distillery creates rye, gin, vermouth, rum, and so much more. And they do not stop there. They have their cocktails creation based on the amazing products that they create. The options are truly endless.
A lot of the way that we think of how to build cocktails, you end up taking what would be in one portion of your traditional cocktail build and you move it over somewhere else. So either the sweetness is going to be over here instead of where it would be over here, or the bittering agents that are going to be in the actual spirit. And that's where a lot of those macerations come in.
When you visit the distillery, you not only can have an amazing cocktail, you can also witness in the distillery all the magic that happens. The concoctions they have on the shelf, the things they're experimenting with. The options are endless for them. How do you have this many ideas?
There's a lot.
There's a lot of ideas here. I love it.
Make it up as you go along.
That's fun though.
Every time we fill the shelf, we are just like, you're just like, you need new shelves now. There's just more things to work with.
I mean, that's great though. I mean, you're never gonna stop. It's your passion. I mean, because if you came to me and you're like, let's just start this, I'd be like, where do we even begin? You know what I mean? I would know nothing.
Yeah.
Like no basis of a foundation to start. But what's really amazing that you guys just, had this idea and passion and just kind of went with it. I'm sure it took a while. How long do you think it actually has it taken from like the beginning, those initial meetings and ideas to a bottle in your hand?
20 years?
Almost, yeah. 17 years.
Wow. Yeah.
One of those things you do little by little and then eventually develops into something. You don't have this long vision of like where you're gonna be 17 years later. You just start doing something out of the passion and then figuring out things for what you want. And then eventually one step leads to another. And then all the circumstances happen to come together that you're like, oh no, we can actually do this, start the distillery, produce the spirits, release the spirits, develop all of them, come up with this other idea, you know.
You guys
bring
have to be so
everything
proud of
together.
yourself. This is amazing.
So this is essentially, this is the stage. This has the alcohol that we're going to redistill. And you can see in the bag here, so we'll do a maceration of certain things. This has some juniper in it right now,
Oh.
but there's also some wormwood.
Oh, there she is. There's that magic bush.
So this is just
Wow.
macerating in there.
And what is the liquid?
So this is the gin that is the back set from the previous distillation.
Okay.
And then fresh macerate going into it to be distilled together.
So that's straight alcohol right there.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
That's high proof stuff. We gotta water it
Oof.
down once we put it in the still.
Like, what's high proof? What are we talking?
This is in the 80s, 80%.
Oh my gosh. Is that legal? I know you're not selling it like this. I just didn't know, what is the legal amount? That's a better question. Woo, I can smell it.
There is no limit. There's no limit.
There's no limit?
I mean, you could get an approval and bottle anything, any percent,
Okay.
you know.
Nobody's gonna drink it.
Yeah, it'll just be really rough. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are trying to make things in a particular way based on tradition, right? We're trying to make the thing that we wanted originally. So like our process and our desire and our outcomes are, I think, a little bit different than what a lot of other people are trying to do. That said, maybe somebody in the world is doing it with something. You know, I don't think we like invented it. But you know, to the degree of which we're using it in classic spirits and in all of the parts, in all of the spirits that we make, I don't think anybody's really gone in that direction.
I learned a lot today. It turns out I love wormwood. Standard Wormwood Distillery has opened my eyes to a whole new world for cocktails. We learned that wormwood has been around for centuries. It's been used for medical purposes over the years, and it is truly a misunderstood herb. But that stops now. You have to come down to the distillery because you have to try all the amazing cocktails creations that they have. And don't worry, the goodness is waiting for you, and so am I. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you.
You might have to I don't know if I'm gonna leave. I wanna move in. Is there a role or job that I can do? Because you guys have created such amazing things. Everything I had was delicious. But I love the story you're telling. You're always bringing out something new, unique, and different. So you gotta come here to try it out though, right? You gotta come here. There we go. Come on, everyone. Cheers, thank you.